Hello and welcome to the Fit for Business and Life podcast, brought to you in partnership with Sharp Fit for Life and the Business Body Network, improving the performance and transforming busy and overweight entrepreneurs, business owners, professionals, and their teams so they become happier, healthier, and more confident. The Fit for Business Life podcast is all about sharing passion, know-how, and expertise around business and personal performance from our hosts, myself, Martin Sharp, a 30-year change maker in businesses large and small, and Dominic Furness, a world traveler and life enthusiast, plus special guests sharing their know-how and expertise in making changes in business and themselves, featuring inspirational stories, insights, tips, and practical knowledge, bringing more healthier, happiness, and higher achievement to your world.
Why not follow this podcast? We are live on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button and drop us a like. We very much appreciate all your support.
So sit back and enjoy this episode of the Fit for Business and Life podcast, brought to you in partnership with Sharp Fit for Life and the Business Body Network. So this is a special edition.
Another one.
Absolutely. And this time we're going to talk about Milton Keynes Marathon.
Heck yeah, 2 out of 3.
Yeah, 2 out of 3. I mean, what a challenge. I mean, when I set this back last year, it felt like a big, hairy, audacious goal.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't believe I'm over halfway through it now.
And do you feel like you've made it through the hard part?
I guess so. I think the training was the hard part. And I think the first marathon was probably the biggest one because you've still always got that worry in the back of your mind. Can you actually do it? Can you do it with so many thousands of people there and everything else that kind of goes through your mind? And it's a big kind of psychological jump when you have completed it. So I wouldn't like to say I was blasé going into the Milton Keynes Marathon, but I didn't feel like I couldn't do it.
Yeah, well, and I suppose it helps that you were running at a slower pace this time on purpose.
Yeah. So big hats off to Gabriel Flores. So my running buddy who's taught me so much about running. Gabe is amazing. I mean, he's literally done. This was his 93rd marathon. I think we worked it out, and
wow.
I know it's a massive wow. It's not just wow. It's like wow. And most of those marathons he's done at an ultra marathon level. I mean, I think that's grossly unfair. The fact that you run 100 or 150 miles and it still only classifies as one marathon. You know, it's like 4 times the distance or 6 times the distance, but you only get 1 marathon bonus point for that one. Yeah. So picked him up from Oxford after he'd run the Thames Path 100. That's the Centurion race, Thames Path 100, from Richmond in London all the way to Oxford. And he'd done about 104 miles. So it was 102 on the actual route itself. And I think it was like a 2-mile diversion from what I could gather from many of the runners when they were checking their tracking. And then he picked himself up. He was tired after doing that. I mean, anybody would be tired after running 100 miles. Let's face it.
It's pretty crazy. Did he nap at all, or was it just awake the whole time?
He had a 5-minute nap.
Wow. Okay.
So in the middle of the night, he said he was absolutely freezing. His teeth were chattering and everything. He couldn't go any further. So he just sat, found a fence and just leaned against the fence, set his watch for 5 whole minutes, had a power nap, and then got himself back up and ran the rest of it. So
amazing.
It is. It's just unbelievable. I mean, when we did the Cleveland Way, that was 127 miles in 5 days walking. It was hill walking, granted, rather than a towpath. But
it was tough.
It was
mentally just like walking all day, every day. It was amazing, but it was tough.
Yeah, some great views as well.
Oh yeah,
and I did do my feet in.
Yeah, a few times.
Yeah, but big respect, and it was just unbelievable just seeing that level of dedication, understanding, and actually putting himself out there to make it happen. I mean, how absolutely fantastic is that? I mean, gonna have to get him on the show.
Yeah, definitely. We need Gabriel on here.
Yeah, I think what we need to do is we need to reach out to everybody who's helped us, and we'll have a post try a marathon show.
Triathlon show,
yeah. So I'll reach out to everybody. Let's just make that kind of happen. So I mean, we picked him up in Oxford, and then we started running in Milton Keynes.
Yeah, I was going to say this is how it links to like what I said about the slower pace, because he's ran this ultra marathon the day before your marathon, and then you picked him up. He's had a bit of rest, and then he's ran with you on yours, and as a result, you've lowered the pace.
Yeah, so the first half, it wasn't a slow pace. He said he was going to go at a slow pace, and it was a slower pace for him because his marathon speed is much faster than mine. So my pace is usually about 6:30 per kilometre for the first 27, 28 kilometres. That's what I've been doing in training. It was slower at London, just simply because the heat. I mean, the heat of London, and just looking back to it, you turn past Limehouse Tunnel, and it was like someone had opened the oven door. It really was that hot. And then, thankfully, Sunday wasn't that hot, so we did the first half, and he was so strong. He kept that so like 6:30, 6:30, 6:45 per kilometre pace all the way around, laughing and joking with everybody as we're going. But the second half, I think it really did take its toll. But my objective for this one, again, it was all about finishing the race and having fun. That's the two things that are most important about this marathon for me. And obviously not breaking myself ready for Leeds next week.
Yeah. Have you been walking, or have you just been like running?
So the first half was just running, and the second half was definitely a bit more run walking. We were talking about different strategies you use when you do ultras. So, for example, what you might do is you might march up hills. You might do like then a run down the back. You might do a 9-minute run, 1-minute walk, or it's like a 7-minute run, 1-minute walk. Just anything to keep yourself going, keep yourself moving, especially when it's getting tough. So yeah, during that second part, we were employing some of those strategies. So anytime we came to a small incline, especially into that kind of third quarter, end of the third quarter into the fourth quarter, any kind of incline, we were just kind of just walking it up there. Fast walk, don't get me wrong, it's not a slow pace.
Mm-hmm.
And then using gravity on the downhills to make that go really well. And as I say, just
good strategies.
Massively impressed that Gabe managed to get all the way around there. So he'd managed to do the equivalent of 130 odd miles in the space of 2 days. That's just phenomenal.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Like, especially like not having much rest between them either.
Yeah, and he was saying though the rest and recovery from the 100-mile race, though it was really just his feet. His legs actually felt quite strong. I mean, certainly anything else. But one of the things I was reminding him as we were going around, because he was saying, "Oh, I'm going so slow. This is not the pace I do this marathon at." And I said, "Well, actually, you're not doing a marathon. You're still on your ultra. Your body's still in that ultra space. So you've got all the toxins, the kind of adrenaline, everything else that's kind of been flowing through your body from the previous day, and the fatigue and the achiness, etc., of that from the 100 miles, and you kind of carried that forwards into the marathon. So it's massive. It
so his full rest and recovery list started after the Milton Keynes Marathon.
Yes, I did speak to him. He said he's had a really good night's sleep, which was good to hear.
I can imagine. Well, speaking of rest and recovery, like, how do you think this is going to fare differently? So the gap between the London Marathon and the Milton Keynes was 9 days, whereas the gap between Milton Keynes and the Leeds Marathon next Sunday is 6 days.
Yeah, 5 days. Yeah. So I think the best part of going slower at the Milton Keynes Marathon means that my body isn't as impacted.
Right, is it run on Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday, yeah. So my body isn't as impacted as it was from coming out of the London Marathon ready for the Milton Keynes one.
Do you notice a difference in that just from pace change?
I can see. So, for example, when I've looked back over the tracking figures in things like Strava and the Nike app and the Apple Health, etc., the Fitness Plus and stuff, and the Aura Ring, I can see all the numbers. So my heart rate variability, things like the amount of effort that was put in, etc., the amount of calories that were expended, all those kind of things tell me that actually I wasn't as I didn't put as much into the Milton Keynes one as I had done into the London one. So London, I think one of the power outputs was about 1,042 as a value, and I think when I tracked it against what I did for Milton Keynes, it was about 900 and something. So you can see straight away there, it took me a little bit longer, rather than the 5 hours 11 minutes 39 seconds. This was 5 hours 51 minutes. So again, you can see that change in pace, that change in the amount of effort that was in there wasn't as much, which means that my body actually isn't feeling that bad today.
That's amazing to hear, though.
Yeah,
that's good that's works that way around with the short recovery window.
Yeah, and again, that wasn't necessarily 100% planned. So obviously, we knew Gabe was coming out of the 100-mile race, and the whole plan was to go at the pace that he could do. That was the main one here. But I do know that his marathon pace is faster than mine, so I was trying not to hold him back. But actually, I think it's been a godsend. I think I'll have to send him out on 100-mile races more often before I do marathons with him.
This is it. So you're just running by yourself in Leeds?
Yeah, back to running back by myself in Leeds. Looking forward to it. So that's going to be good fun on Sunday. With yeah, so it's and basically it's like an out and back. You run from Leeds Headingley Stadium into central Leeds, past the university there, and then back down Otley Road all the way into Otley, and then back again, effectively, including taking in the Shevin Hill.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's going to be pretty brutal.
yeah.
Wow.
Yes, brutal's probably a really good word of it. So that's
It's steep. I know all your listeners probably might not know where that is, but it's steep.
yeah. So there's a big drop down. I think it's about 400 meters down and about 400 meters back up, and it is a. When you look at the elevation graph for the route, it almost like someone's just drawn a square wave. It is kind of that. It's not a nice gentle descent. It's going to be fairly brutal. So the way down, hopefully we can protect the knees and just enjoy the gravity, giving us that recovery period, and then the way back up, to see how we go. I think I've heard from a few runners that there's near on 200 people last year were hospitalised on the hill on the way up.
200 people hospitalised for what?
I think heat and exhaustion. I think basically.
Oh, so it might have been a hot summer's day back then.
Yeah, so we'll see what it's going to be like on Sunday. We are expecting it to get up to about 20 degrees, and looking at what's it going to feel like. I don't think it's got a huge amount of wind either, so I think it will be that ambient temperature is how it's going to feel. So I'm kind of hoping for a little bit of cloud cover.
That would be good.
Yeah, so we'll have obviously report back after we've done that one.
Yeah, not far away at all now. Like, I can't believe the challenge is nearly over. Like, yeah, 3 is a daunting prospect. It's like, it is just a run. Like, you put all the training in. Like, you probably, as you said, done the work in training. Like, that's the hard bit. But I guess just mentally, the prospect of doing it was probably quite like okay, here we go. But now you've broken the back of it, really. So it's just like, you just got to run it out, literally.
Yeah, I mean, the training is it. I mean, no one's there to clap you through the training. You don't have the aid stations in the training or the first aid or anything else like that available to you. You don't have the organisation around it. You've got to put all that in yourself, and you do that for months. I mean, we think back. I mean, this has been 14 months of running to get to the point where I could run 3 marathons. And there's a lot of dedication in there. I'm so grateful for yourself. I'm so grateful for Sarah and for everybody who's basically rallied around me over that 14 month and kind of helped and support me to get here. So for example, like Mike Dales when he's been running with us on the park runs, etc., and Steve Wilson for again saying hi. I hadn't spoken to Steve for about 15 years, and he kind of just saw me. I mean, we worked together a while ago, and that was kind of lovely, just having that kind of encouragement and support from him. And we keep bumping into each other now at runs. It's one of the hobbies that he's had for decades. And obviously, again, same with the support from Mark, my accountant, Mark Overend. So again, thank you very much, Mr. Asentis. Much appreciate that kind of encouragement. And I must admit, it does make the calls with the to talk about tax advice and things a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, I bet.
So it's always a good one, is that one. And yeah, there's just so many other people. Claire Fudge for all the support with the nutrition side and getting that working. Obviously, Gabe for all of the help and encouragement and support. Even coming up to York to do the Sea York Run York, the one that we did for a training run because it was a social run marathon. So marathon distance, just not necessarily a race. And so yeah, it's just been phenomenal to have so much support available to me, even though it wasn't kind of like you don't have it organized.
Yeah, definitely. It's blown me away the amount of support, actually. Like, so many people reaching out to you. It's been very nice to see.
Yeah, and I think that's true for every walk of life, though. If you can find that core number of people around you that can help and support you and encourage you and provide that level of know-how and knowledge, effectively, you don't have, and not just the book knowledge, because you can pick that up, you can read the books, etc. I mean, I've read some amazing books. There's a lovely one by Anita Bean about the sports nutrition and stuff, which I've found so many golden nuggets in there. But then it's taking some of those real, I don't know, you'd almost say bookwork kind of information, then put it into reality, into real life, and saying, okay, well, actually, this is how you apply it, and then being able to bounce that off somebody else and say, yeah, that's how it works. And then when things don't quite work as well, so for example, when you're trying to get your nutrition right, and you're kind of struggling trying to chew and breathe and run and coordinate anything really, especially when you're starting to feel a bit tired. Just having that kind of strategy as to even simple things like for example, you think about taking in carbohydrates when you're doing a run, like a marathon, because you need to take the energy in ready for the later miles. One of the bits of advice Claire gave me is remember to chew the jelly babies. And you never think you ever have to have that piece of advice.
Have you found that useful? Do you think you would have forgotten to chew a jelly baby?
I think when you're in the moment and you're running and you're trying to breathe and you're trying to coordinate everything and you've got to get the fuel in and stuff, you would be tempted because it's not that hard to swallow a jelly baby. Let's face it. But that means it's going to take longer for it to actually get into your system and can cause gastric distress and things because you've taken in this whole jelly baby. So just little things like that. It's just that voice in the back of your head saying, "No, remember to chew jelly babies." It means that you do remember.
Charlie in check. Yeah, that's pretty good insight actually. Like I wouldn't have even thought about that. Like I try to remember to chew my seeds on my breakfast, but not jelly babies.
Yeah. So and especially when you're in that moment of high stress, and that's the other interesting thing when you look at the stats on the Aura Ring, and it's like tells about how was your daytime stress been. You have this big huge block, and you say, "Yep, that's a marathon."
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, it's cool to see you like taking all these whirlwind of like advice, like things you've read in books, people you've heard from people, like what your Aurora Ring says, what like your Apple Watch says, like bit of statistics, bit of science, bit of like just normal human emotion, I suppose, and just putting it all together for something that works for you. And I think that does apply to like all walks of life and training, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to take whatever you get and apply it to you so it works for your life.
Yeah, because then it might what works perfectly for somebody else might not work for you. But you may as well try it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, one of the kind of biggest comments I've had back so far is, Walker's crisps? Why on earth are you eating crisps? But yet it works. It works for me specifically. And different people, they're built differently. They have different ways that their body does work. So while there is a set of general guidelines and rules, etc., that says this is how bodies generally work, actually, you've got to find the bits that actually work really well for you.
Yeah, and there is literally like this science, and then like there's also like you. I do think they kind of sit slightly different. Like scientifically, what's happening in your body is fact, but I guess like maybe possibly mentally, it's just like reacting a bit differently.
Yeah, and I think there is science there, but it's are you going to run with a probe in various different orifices and stuck to you all over, etc. It's just to get that up to the minute kind of thing happening, and I tried that. I did try one of those kind of blowy gadget things. I'm not going to mention it here, just to see how that would work. So that kind of reacted to how the gases that kind of release from your lungs kind of tells it exactly whether you're burning fats, whether you're burning carbohydrates, and told you to adjust accordingly. And it was constantly adjusting. So the thing with that is you couldn't get into a rhythm. You couldn't build a habit because, you'd be doing what you think you were supposed to do for the day. You'd set out saying, okay, I'm going to do my run at this time. I'm going to do my weight training at this time. I'm going to eat these type of foods at these times and prepare the meals, etc. ready. You've got your busy day of work, as everyone has. Plus you've got your days with your families. You've got everything else that kind of goes on in your life. And then this would suddenly say, all change, no carbohydrates today, or all change and no fats or more fats for the day. And it's so hard to kind of and to juggle that, especially into like everyday life. I mean, if
you want to settle into a bit of a routine, that routine will probably benefit you more than perhaps the slight edge of like nutrition.
Yeah, and I think this is kind of one of the things we've worked with a lot of our clients with is to get the big building blocks working first. Because when you kind of got the big building blocks in place and you've got the big habits kind of there that are kind of supporting you, then actually you've already made a huge step change. I mean,
sorry, I heard you say on a call earlier today actually about like just look at the bigger picture, not like one little blip. Like just look at the whole building block as a whole.
Yeah, exactly.
Over a longer period of time, and don't worry about the little like outliers.
Yeah, we was having a conversation with a financial advisor there when we were talking because he was giving the advice around what was it? It was about the trends in the stock market, etc. And because obviously at the moment everyone's kind of panicking because all the stock markets are crashing all over the place. It's getting as low as you can possibly imagine.
Good time to buy though.
Well, it's like anything. When's the best time to plant a tree? Yesterday. When's the next best time to plant a tree? Right now. It's the same with the stock market. If you're looking at doing something for the long term, by the way, I'm not a financial advisor, so do not take this advice. Then you get stuff now. You do put in place right now, and then you keep doing it for that long period of time, because over a longer period of time, the trend will go up. I mean, that's exactly what's happened.
Oh yeah,
over
the graph
years.
will go left to right if you leave it long enough.
Exactly.
And you can apply that health, fitness, running, whatever it is, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you keep drilling in and setting that routine and setting those standards, it will go left to right on the graph of improvement.
Exactly.
Which is shown in your running. Like, I'll let you finish your point, and then I'll bounce back into what I was going to say.
Yeah, so you're exactly right, because it's every time you kind of put something in place. So, for example, if you're doing like a regular saving plan to go into your ISA or into your pension plan or whatever else it is, that's the equivalent of you doing your running. That's the equivalent of you putting the effort into making sure you're eating correctly each and every single day. And by doing that, then gradually every single day, this is going to move you from left to right. It's going to move you higher into that scale, because things are going to improve. So don't worry about, for example, what the weights on the scale say in day out, week in, week out. What you want to be looking for is a longer trend, because things are going to change on a weekly basis. But over the space of like 6 to 12 weeks, you're going to see a trend happening there. And after that trend is going in the right direction, so your performance is going up, your weight might be coming down, depending on what it is kind of trying to track. Then you're putting the right effort in, and if you can see it's going the wrong direction, so your weight is going up and you didn't want it to go up, or your performance is going down, you don't want that to go down, then you need to change the input values that you're doing. You need to change the exercise, you need to change the food, the people you associate with, the amount of rest that you get, whatever else it is. And so it's exactly the same as with stock market investment.
But you got to give it a bit of time to settle in, like, is what you're saying. Like, you can't just look one day, like the stats have changed, you got to change it again and again and again, a bit like the breathing device college used to do. Like, over a long period of time, your things just going to be up and down, up and down, up and down. You need to try things to extend it bottom left, top right.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if I had done my running like I did, so if you did day trading, then I probably wouldn't be running right now. That first 3 months was hell. I'm not gonna lie to anybody. It was not comfortable.
Yeah, well, that's a nice segue, because before I let you finish your point, wanted to ask you to cast your mind back to that like first park run 14 months ago, and how much different you feel.
Yeah, it's how much different do I feel? I don't fear running.
Did you fear it then?
Oh God, yeah. I feared it because I never liked it previously. I always found I ached and it hurt, and everything kind of just wasn't comfortable doing it. My breathing was bad. There's nothing at all I could say I actually enjoyed about running. Casting my mind back, I mean, the only real reason why I kept doing it is because I promised to help Sarah. I mean, that was it.
Yeah. And okay, so you're a man with many lessons in life, that's for sure. Would you say you've learned anything from running specifically over this longer period?
Oh, loads. I mean, we covered some of them off from the learnings from the London Marathon. I mean, chafing in so many places you never expect to chafe.
I'm going to rephrase that as like mental lessons.
Mental lessons. Okay, so
like resilient, because you have a lot of resilience and things like that anyway. I just wondered if it had like put you in a little bit of a different angle, I suppose, to get through some challenging times doing it. Like for me, like to try and give an example, like me in the gym at the start, like I really didn't enjoy it, and then it still is just dedication over motivation. Like, get the motivation, you got to do it every day. But now, because I've been doing it so much every day and I've overcome those kind of what you were saying, like mental fears of doing it, it's now not a problem. And I would say like I can apply that to other things, because I've had that process with the gym. I can now apply that same mindset to other things in life. And I'm like, okay, like if you just keep doing it, just keep doing it, just keep doing it. Like I get to a point when you don't feel like you're licking sand anymore. That is something that I learned from that experience. I was wondering if you had anything similar from running.
I love that. I don't feel like you're licking the sand anymore. You're absolutely spot on. I mean, I think that kind of mental challenge to get over something that I didn't enjoy. and actually embrace it. I think that was a big one. And again, I think that was because I was doing it for someone else. So I know, for example, my mind will do some more for other people than it ever would do for myself, and I can use that now as a tool to help me to effectively take things that little bit further and improve myself in all sorts of different ways. And then that improvement that I bring to myself actually helps to improve other people as well, and helps other people. So it is it's cyclic. So being able to do that, I think, is probably one of the biggest things. And I knew that about myself before anyway. But again, it just really, it hammers it home, it highlights it. And again, that whole thing of resilience, you're absolutely spot on. I mean, you kind of you build up that kind of chest of things that make it really difficult to back out. And I always remember a good friend of mine, Andy, he said, what was it? He said people are more scared of their light and their brilliance than they are of their darkness, because they're more willing to embrace their darkness, and they're used to their darkness. They're used to that point where I can't do this, I have a workaround for that, I'm going to avoid doing this, etc. And that's that kind of fear mentality, that kind of, okay, I can go into that space, I don't have to show myself, and I can hide, and all those kind of things. And it's perfectly normal, it's perfectly natural. And in fact, when you look at the animal kingdom, that's what a lot of animals do. They get to a position where they're unsure, they're not comfortable, etc. They will go away, they'll hide. Their kind of fear response will kick in, what everyone calls the fight, flight, or freeze kind of response. But actually, the brilliance, the amazingness, the fabulousness that you can be when you embrace that fear and do it anyway, you kind of challenge yourself and push yourself, and you rally every single ounce of what you've got to shine as much as you can, and just show the world who you can possibly be. I mean, that takes a lot. It takes a lot out of anybody, and that doesn't have to be setting yourself up for a 3 marathon challenge and going from not running to running in 14 months. I mean, that's just how it's expressed itself in myself. For some people, that brilliance can be a simple thing as making a commitment to say, I'm going to look after myself more. I'm going to start to put myself first. And that can be a huge, huge challenge, because for some people, it's all of a sudden stepping out. It's stepping out of all the things that they've been expected to do. It's what other people have said they have to do. It's what society says you should be doing, etc. But that doesn't always serve them.
No, and that is an amazing thing. And that in itself is a bit of a 2-step challenge, because you've got to do it initially and have that motivation, that drive to do it the first time. And then you have to subsequently not make excuses to not do it, because that is also very easy to do. Oh, I'll just skip today, do it tomorrow kind of thing. And then tomorrow never comes. You've got to be very wary of that, in my opinion, just from personal experience.
Yeah, definitely. And then I think one of the things we teach our clients is about using the diary. I mean, being busy professionals, most busy professionals will agree they live and die by their diary. It's making sure they've got time for everything. So when it's in the diary, it gets done. You have an important meeting, you put in the diary. You're meeting with a client, you put in the diary. You need to get some work done, you block out your diary. Everything kind of goes in there. So put yourself in the diary. You put your time for eating, your time for resting, your time for fun, your time for socializing, your time for working on yourself effectively, the exercise, the mental kind of work that you need to do. And never cancel it. You can postpone it, you can move it around, but you treat it the same as, for example, you would do any other major piece inside your career. If for example, if you're going out and doing a run, or you going out and working in the gym, or you eating healthily and preparing that meal correctly, or you spending time socially with your friends and your family, those are all really important things. And if that should have the same credence inside your diary as, say, for example, that meeting with that important client where you're going to close that deal. And if you can't put that same value on yourself, then your values somehow need to change, because why are you doing all the other work for, if not to improve yourself and improve those people that you care about around you?
Yeah, that was very poetic. I love that. That was really good.
Thank you very much. That's another one of Andy's magical ones. He says, the magic is in the moment. Don't ask me to repeat it.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, no, that's a good motto too.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm just going to share the wonderful medal that we got from Milton Keynes. It's Milton Keynes has got the title of the home of the concrete cows. It was one of the design cities that kind of came about, and when you kind of think of Milton Keynes, you wouldn't ever think about it being a really green place. Certainly, I don't. But actually, running around there has completely changed my opinion. There's so many lovely green spaces. It's
That's
so
very nice.
easy to walk around as well and run around. It's such a warm and friendly space. Definitely worthwhile a visit. But everything has a cow theme. So as you're running through the starting line, there's 2 cows on the front of it. It says Cowabunga.
Nice.
You have signs on the way around that says "Keep moving," and all the medals have a cow theme. So this year's theme is Top Gun, and they've got it just looking a bit like Maverick and Goose on the front of the medal. So I'm just gonna.
Yeah. So for audio listeners, it does. Yeah, it's like it's got a cow with some sunglasses on it, with a goose behind it, and then like the Top Gunny logo in blue.
And it says, "I feel the need for speed."
Yeah, and Milton Keynes 2025 marathon weekend, and the medal itself is silver.
Yeah,
but that's pretty cool. I didn't pick up on like the goose thing. There's a goose in the background. I get it now.
So definitely worthwhile a visit if anybody's looking for doing their first marathon. Milton Keynes is actually a really nice one. I would definitely recommend it. Very friendly, very easy to get around. The marshals, the stewards, the volunteers, the crowds are just absolutely fantastic.
Is it a bit less chaotic than London?
Yes, a lot less hot.
Yeah, but that was just the day. Oh, I suppose all the people though.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people ran this one?
I think over the weekend there was about 8,000, just shy of 8,200 people, I believe.
So that compared to what, 66?
There was 57,000. I'm going to get the numbers wrong here. 57,449 people, I believe, have started running the London Marathon, and 56,640 finished it. And there was an estimated over 800,000 people standing and cheering along the route. So yeah, the numbers are a little smaller, but actually I think that definitely works in its favour. You've got a really lovely mix on the route round. You've got you run through the centre of Milton Keynes. You've got some areas which are definitely more urban, and then some areas that are more rural. So you kind of go out into some of the parks, into some of the country walk kind of things. And it's a really nice kind of run around. So you don't just get to see concrete buildings. You do get to see lots of greenery.
Well, that's very nice. The green's always good. Keep you motivated.
Yeah, and there's plenty of pubs that you run past. So it felt along with people with signs that says "Pain now, beer later."
I like that.
So we finished the race with a Erdinger alcohol-free beer, which was really, really nice and refreshing at the end.
Yeah, I bet that was absolutely lovely.
Yeah, definitely. So speaking of endings, I think we'll call it a day right now. Obviously, if you've got any questions about the marathons or anything else like that, please do drop us a note. We're always welcome to listen to any kind of questions or take advice or feedback or any kind of comments. Just drop us an email at hello@sharpfitforlife.com. So just one big thank you all for taking the time out to listen to this episode of the Fit for Business Life podcast. The Fit for Business Life podcast is brought to you in partnership with Sharp Fit for Life and the Business Body Network, helping busy professionals and their teams become happier, healthier, and more higher achieving in business and in life. If you'd like to join us as a guest or get in touch to know more about this topic that we've covered, or if you'd like to hear from you, really, just simply email us at hello@sharpfitforlife.com. Once again, thank you for listening to the Fit for Business and Life podcast. The Fit for Business and Life podcast is brought to you and produced by Wax Tie Limited. All copyright is applied.
And if you made it this far in the video, like if you want to donate to the Teenage Cancer Trust as part of this 3-marathon challenge, there's one more to go. The link will be in the description.
Yeah, the link is sharpfitforlife.com/TCT2025. All donations are gratefully received. It's an amazing charity.
Yeah, right. See you later, guys.
Bye-bye for now.